What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today it's time to review a really crazy Whoop. This is a 4S Whoop. It's also flyable on 3S, and we're going to start out this review just sort of taking a look at this quad. It is the G-Lang Anger 75X version 2, and it is around 45 grams on the weight, and a little bit heavier with the battery. Not very heavy at all, way under the 250 gram mark. We have a 75 millimeter wheelbase on here. It does have pretty nice motors. They're the 1202 6900 kV, and a little less hopped up than the Wasp 85X that we flew yesterday or the day before on the channel. But this also has a 1.5 millimeter shaft as well on here. So if you're looking for props for that, those are 1.5 millimeter. Also, it has an F4 flight controller with Betaflight, OSD, all that good stuff on there. And we have 12 amp ESCs on here. This is called an all-in-one stack from, it's from G-Lang. So it's their development for this particular stack. And it says 20 by 20 on the specs, but I believe it looks like 16 to me. I did not take any measurement device to it, but I'm pretty good at looking at things and telling how big they are. It definitely looks like 16 by 16. Also, one thing to note is that I feel like it's a little bit strange to run 4S on a 12 amp ESC setup, but it does say in the specs that you can run it 3 or 4S. So, you know, I did it for you guys anyway. I plugged in my 4S battery very cautiously, hoping that I didn't see the puff of white smoke, which I didn't, thank God. Coming out of the motors or the ESCs, I ran it on both 3 and 4S, and 3S actually seems to fly not much different than 4S, honestly. If you want to buy 3S 260 milliamp batteries, you can do that. It does come with a 4S 260 milliamp from G-Lang, which is nice. It gets me about 3.5 minutes flight time if I'm really hauling ass, but if I slow it down, I think I can milk 4 minutes out of this battery. And that's pretty cool. You can also fly a 450 on there. It does start to get a little bit heavy with the 450. It will do what I would call light freestyle. I don't think this quad's going to do anything super crazy. It's not really meant for that. If you want to do more freestyle, get the Wasp 85X. That one will freestyle without all the prop guard interference. The prop guards traditionally just cause a lot of interference with the flight controller in general. It causes tumble and what we call washout, and it'll cause the quad to do this in a dive or whatever, sometimes on a flip or roll, but it would do very basic flips and rolls. And it didn't have any jello in the camera, I'd like to report. Also, the camera is pretty good. It is an 800 TVL camera developed by G-Lang, and it does have a TPU covering around the whole thing. It has 2 bolts on the side right here that go through this top plate canopy. I did not put the stickers on mine, by the way, but my AC900 is up front right here for the receiver. And I have some Gemfan. Yeah, these look like 40 millimeter props, I believe. Yeah, these are the Gemfan 40 millimeter props, and I'll try to put a link down below for the ones that I recommend for it. But some of you guys expressed that you would like to see an XT30 on the Wasp 85X. Well, you can convert that if you want to, but this one comes with the XT30, so there's no option to fly this one on 1S unless you have some 1S batteries with an XT30 on there. But honestly, this quad, you can fly it on 2S, and it still will fly great. If you want to fly indoors, I'd recommend trying a 2S battery on here, just for fun. You'll just get some basic cruising. But what's really neat about this quad is not only are all the specs really good on this quad, it is a small size for indoor or outdoor. It also does have a 200 milliwatt VTX with some smart audio on there, so you can really get out there quite a good distance. And the AC900 antenna comes out the top right here. It did actually have a pretty good range on it. I flew it up and down my street and never had any problems with failsafe. I even flew it up behind my house and had the house in the way of this receiver, and it didn't failsafe or drop to the ground, which is really good news. So the receiver is actually doing quite good. And also good news for you guys that are looking for alternate receivers out there. It does handle Futaba, Spektrum, and FlySky. We have a rubber band that holds on the 260 milliamp battery. And I thought at first this was a little bit small, but it does have a nice power to weight ratio. A 4S Whoop is just crazy punch out. You can go to the top of a 75-foot Oregon tree super quick with this quad. Great punch out, great power. And when you push the stick forward on this quad, that is where this quad turns into pure enjoyment. I mean, it felt like, I heard Nick say it felt like a pod racer from Star Wars, and it absolutely does feel like that. To me, it feels like I'm on a sport bike doing 100 miles an hour when it comes to the quad realm of things. It is extremely fast, and it's not my awesome flying, it's actually the good tune and just being in stability mode and pushing forward on the stick. And this thing hauls ass. Yeah, it moves out. So let's go ahead now and fire up this 4S 260 milliamp battery, and we'll do some flying on 4S and some 3S flying. Here we go, guys. After that, we'll come back and give my final thoughts on this one. Anger 75 version 2 Whoop, 4S Whoop. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back from the flight test with the Anger 75X. So it also comes with a case. You can see on the back here, Anger 75X. It also shows you all the different options that you have, including DSMX, FlySky, and there is also a no RX version of it, P&P. That means no RX. But this case actually looks a little nicer than the Emax cases. It has a little handle here, a big fat zipper all the way around, and it opens up. And it can go in the case just like this, and it fits in there. The cover closes, no problem. You get some instructions in here on how to bind up various different receivers. You get some instructions on your video transmitter as well, on how to work smart audio. So if you're new to flying quads, you want to learn how to do that. You get some extra props, an extra rubber band, some spacers, and I got this nifty data cable as well. It has a longer post on the end of it. You can see that. That's pretty cool that it has that. I almost would just like to keep this one sitting on my desk for future quads, because sometimes it's a little bit hard to get to the USB port on the flight controller. And what I did, I actually trimmed this one back a little bit so my standard USB Android style cable would fit in there. Also, you get some information on the AC900, how to bind that one up. That one is pretty easy to bind up. You'll have to do that in D16. There's also I believe there's a CLI command to get that to bind up as well. You don't have to do that. There's actually a gold bind button on the very front, and it's cool because you can access this one. But final thoughts on performance. I think this one is going to be kind of a popular quad once people actually see the reviews on this quad. And if you flew it, you would want to own it yourself, just because the tune on here is great. And it also has a lot of control. I was able to actually skirt between the kids' playground equipment, the swing, under the slide, around the deck, and get a lot of forward speed, but also come to a stop really quickly when I want to stop and make a quick turn and accelerate back the other direction. And it really gets on the throttle when you stop and make a turn and get back into racing. This one would also be, you know, a great indoor racer. If you have a whoop course in your hometown, not a lot of us do, but if you do have one, this would shred a whoop course, or even an indoor course. Indoor, outdoor, Anger 75X version 2 will do it either way. I also like the fact that this did not break. The frame did not break, and I had some hard crashes. You also get an extra frame as well in here. So I think these frames are probably better than the Beta FPV frames, in my opinion. They feel much sturdier. They might be a little bit heavier, but they're extremely sturdy. Lots of extra reinforcements here. They actually have 4 extra reinforcement points on each prop duct, and a ton in the center. You can see it's almost like a spider web, so very nice. I also didn't mention, but you do get a screwdriver, and that fits right in those screws on the side of the camera where the camera mounts. But overall, I have to say, a very, very awesome, nice quad. So if this is gonna be your first quad, you're gonna have a ball with this one. The cool thing is that you can slow it way down and fly it much slower once you get used to the throttle. And these motors, I haven't flown a lot of these 1202 motors, but I like these a lot better than the 0803 series motors. I think they're much smoother, and they seem to be more efficient for a longer flight. So, and at the high end of the throttle, really nice. No jello in the camera on the high end of the throttle. So that's very good news for you guys. But great tune, decent quality, and probably one of the best releases from G-Lang so far. I have another review coming up on the Titan HD, guys. That is coming up on the channel. They're gonna send that one over. So stay tuned for that one, as well as an extremely awesome review I have coming up for this Megabat from Racer X. This is the Megabat 7. I'm gonna build this one up. We're gonna put probably gonna put a CADX on there, and we're gonna fly the crap out of this quad. So stay tuned for that one. Ultralight 7-inch, guys. It's gonna be an interesting summer on the Drone Camps channel. Thanks for subscribing. And if you didn't subscribe, please do smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell for all the new videos coming out. Guys, take care. Stay safe, and happy FPV. I will see you on the next one, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Bye-bye.